All right, let's dive in. Welcome to another deep dive. And today we're tackling a topic that I know a lot of you are interested in, and that's Dave Ramsey.
Oh, yeah, he's quite a figure.
He is. And we got this great YouTube video called Dave Ramsey's Life Advice Will Leave You Speechless. Must watch.
Ooh, that's a bold title.
It is, right.
Mhm.
And it's from this channel called Free Investing. And the title's not that far off, to be honest.
I'm intrigued.
This guy's life is like, wow, it's a roller coaster. And there's so much to unpack about like what to do with your money and what not to do.
Yeah, what I think is so fascinating at Ramsey is that it's not just about the money, right? It's about the psychology, our relationship with money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like imagine this, 26 years old, driving a Jaguar, going on trips to Hawaii.
Okay, living the dream.
That was Dave Ramsey. Like before most people even figure out what a network is, he's got a $4 million real estate portfolio, $1 million net worth.
Wow, that's incredible. But it's also, I think it's a cautionary tale, too.
It is.
Because that kind of rapid success, it's a double-edged sword.
Oh, yeah.
It's like what Ramsey says, money amplifies who you already are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you tend to be impulsive or, chasing status symbols, having more money,
It just makes it worse.
it can really magnify those tendencies.
And that's exactly what happened to him.
Oh, I bet.
He talks about buying that Jaguar, right? Just to show off
Oh, wow.
the lavish vacations. Like he was living large.
But was it built on a solid foundation? That's the question.
And that's where things get a little, well,
A little rocky.
rocky. Yeah. The banks call in his loans, and almost overnight, boom, $2 million in debt.
Oh, my gosh.
Just like a reminder that, whoa, financial security could be pretty fragile.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic boom and bust, right?
Yeah.
We see it all the time personally with the economy as a whole. It's that, what did he do next? That's the thing.
Exactly. He didn't just give up.
Right.
He dug deep, figured out what went wrong, and he came up with these principles that helped him climb out of that hole and actually achieve, lasting stability.
So he turned it around, essentially.
He did. And those are what we're going to get into now, right? These 5 principles are like his recipe for financial peace.
Yeah, let's hear them.
He calls it like common sense, biblical wisdom. So first up, we have get on a budget.
Now, that's something I think everyone can relate to, because it's about being intentional.
Right.
Like, if you don't decide where your money's going,
It vanishes.
it does. It just slips through your fingers.
He says it perfectly. A budget is telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went.
Oh, I like that.
It's about taking control.
Yeah, of your finances, your life, everything.
Now, I know budgeting can sound scary to some people.
Oh, yeah, it gets a bad rap.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Ramsey talks about it, it's not about restriction.
It's about empowerment.
Yes. It's about making choices that actually, like, match your values and your goals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Like, what does it look like?
Well, how do we get on a budget? That's a big question.
There's a lot of ways to do it, but, a popular one, the 50-30-20 rule. Have you heard of that?
I have.
Okay, so you take your after-tax income and you're allocating 50% to your needs, basic stuff like housing, food, transportation. 30% goes to your wants, the fun stuff, entertainment, eating out.
The little luxuries.
Exactly. And then that last 20%, that goes straight to savings, debt repayment, all that good stuff.
I love that. It's like simple, easy to remember, and it gives you that framework.
And it's flexible.
Oh, yeah.
You can tweak those percentages depending on your situation, what matters most to you.
Okay, so we've got our budget, right? What's the next step on this, like, Ramsey roadmap to financial freedom?
For Ramsey, getting out of debt, no question about it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he's adamant about it.
Right.
He's got this really powerful phrase he uses, the borrower is slave to the lender. And it just highlights how much debt can weigh you down, mentally, emotionally.
He tells this story, I don't know if you've heard it,
Oh, tell me.
about a guy whose truck payment
Okay.
was higher than his mortgage.
What? That's crazy.
I know, right? And it's like, how do you even get to that point? But it just shows how easily you can lose control.
Oh, absolutely. Debt can be so stressful, it can hold you back from doing what you really want,
Yeah, pursuing your dreams, even your relationships can suffer.
So what's the antidote? What does Ramsey suggest we do about it?
Well, he's a big fan of what he calls the debt snowball method.
The debt snowball, what's that?
So you list out all your debts, but from smallest to largest, and you ignore the interest rates.
Interesting.
That goes all your extra money on knocking out that smallest debt first, while still making minimum payments on the others.
So it's about momentum.
It is. You get that first win, and it's like, okay, I can do this. And then you roll that into the next debt, and the snowball just keeps growing.
It's a great visual. It makes it feel less daunting.
Right. But what about people who are just starting out? They don't have a lot of extra cash to throw around. What's Ramsey's advice for them?
Well, he always says, live below your means.
Okay.
Cut expenses, get creative, maybe a side hustle or negotiate a raise. There's always ways to,
To make it work.
yeah, find a little extra room in your budget.
It's about resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Making those tough choices now to get where you want to be later.
And that actually leads perfectly into his third principle. This one might surprise you. Foster high-quality relationships.
Okay. How does that tie into finances?
Well, because who you surround yourself with has a huge impact.
On everything.
On everything. Ramsey says eagles don't flock, turkeys flock.
Oh, I like that.
Meaning, if you want to soar high, you got to be around other high flyers, not those content to just, stay on the ground.
Right.
And he's got the stats. He says over 10 years, your income's going to be pretty close, within 10% to the average income of your 10 closest friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About who you're spending your time with, what their habits are like.
Are they supporting you? Or dragging you down?
Exactly. It's not about judging people. It's about being mindful, choosing your inner circle wisely.
And this goes way beyond money, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the people we're around shape our values, our beliefs.
Our whole outlook on life. So
Right.
we need to be with people who inspire us, challenge us to grow, right?
Right. Okay, so principle number 4, save money. Seems pretty straightforward, but Ramsey really emphasizes that safety net.
Oh, for sure. Especially nowadays, with everything going on in the world, having that buffer is crucial.
It's peace of mind, knowing you can handle whatever comes your way.
Exactly. It's not just, a flat tire or the fridge breaking down.
Right.
It's about being able to walk away from a job you hate.
Or pursue a passion project.
Yes. Or even, ride out a financial storm without drowning in debt.
So how much should we be saving? What's a good number to aim for?
Ramsey says, start with $1,000 just for emergencies. Once you've got that, then work towards a fully funded emergency fund, which is like 3 to 6 months of living expenses, just in case.
And then once that's in place,
Yeah.
you can start thinking about long-term goals, retirement, down payment on a house, all that.
Exactly. And the key is to make it automatic, Set up a system where money is going straight into savings every month.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind.
And before you know it, you've got a nice little nest egg growing.
All right. Last but not least, we've got be generously generouses. Now, this one might seem counterintuitive, especially when you're trying to, get your finances in order.
Right. You'd think, hold on to every penny.
Exactly. But Ramsey believes that generosity is actually a key ingredient to success.
Really? How so?
It's about that mindset shift from scarcity to abundance.
Oh, I see. It's about believing there's enough to go around.
He has this great story about a Thanksgiving tradition he started with his family.
Oh, tell me about it.
They would go to Waffle House
Okay.
and leave a massive tip for their server.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's just a small gesture, but imagine the impact.
Especially on a holiday like Thanksgiving.
It's about recognizing that we're all connected. Our actions can make a difference.
It's that ripple effect, right? Spreading kindness.
And it ties back to what we were saying about money amplifying who you are. So if you're a generous person.
Having more allows you to be even more generous.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your values, creating a life that feels, authentic and meaningful.
So it's not just about being good with money. It's about being a good person overall.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Dave Ramsey's 5 foundational principles.
Yeah.
Budgeting, getting out of debt, fostering high-quality relationships, saving money, and being generously generous.
It's amazing how they all connect, don't they? It's like this positive spiral leading to financial stability, peace of mind.
And ultimately, a more purposeful life.
It's not just about the numbers. It's about living a richer life in every sense.
So how do we take all this
Yeah.
and actually apply it? Where do we even begin?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And the great thing about Ramsey's approach is that it's not one size fits all, It's about taking these core principles and figuring out how they fit into your life, your goals.
So it's more like a mindset, a way of thinking about money.
Exactly. And it starts with awareness,
Yeah.
Really looking at your current situation.
Like a financial self-assessment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you spending your money? How much debt do you have? What are you hoping to achieve? Short term and long term.
Once you have that clear picture, then you can start making those intentional choices.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're feeling completely overwhelmed, They're in debt, they don't have a budget. Where do they even start?
That's a great question because it can feel really daunting.
Oh, for sure.
What's the first step?
Start small, I would say.
Right.
Don't try to do everything at once, Pick one principle that really speaks to you and focus on that.
Makes sense.
Maybe it's creating a simple budget or paying off a small debt. Just get that ball rolling.
It's all about building momentum.
Exactly. You experience those early wins, and it motivates you to keep going.
Ramsey talks about the domino effect, how one positive action can trigger a whole chain reaction of changes.
Oh, I love that analogy. It's so true, not just with finances, but with life in general.
Absolutely. So give me an example. How could getting on a budget impact someone beyond just their bank account?
Well, think about it. A budget is a plan for your resources, right?
Yeah.
And resources aren't just money.
Oh, yeah.
It's your time, your energy, too.
Makes sense.
So if you apply those same budgeting principles to your time, you can create more structure in your day.
Oh,
You might be more productive, less stressed, find a better balance overall.
so it's like that intentionality, that conscious decision-making, you're applying it to different areas of your life.
Exactly. And it can create this ripple effect, this sense of purpose that goes beyond just dollars and cents.
It all starts to connect, doesn't it?
It does. And let's not forget relationships. Ramsey talks about how money fights are a huge source of conflict in marriages.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is, if you're not on the same page financially.
It can cause so much stress.
Resentment, arguments.
But when you start applying these principles, like creating a budget together, paying off debt as a team, making those financial decisions together.
You're united. You're working towards a common goal.
Exactly. And it can actually strengthen your bond, create a sense of shared purpose.
Now, I know some people might be thinking, okay, this is great, but I'm already pretty good with money. What's in it for me?
That's a fair question.
Like, is this just for people who are struggling in debt, living paycheck to paycheck?
Well, Ramsey definitely targets that audience, but I think there are gems here for everyone, regardless of where you're at financially.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're already stable, you can optimize your finances, reach your goals faster, and maybe even find more meaning and purpose with your money.
I love that. Using your money for good.
Right. And that's where the generosity piece comes in. It's really powerful.
He talks about living a legacy, right? It's not just about what you leave behind, but how you live each day.
Absolutely. It's about using your resources to make a difference in the world.
And, they say what goes around comes around.
It's true. Often when you give freely, you receive in abundance.
It's like this beautiful cycle.
And let's not forget the power of those high-quality relationships, no matter how successful you are,
It's always important.
Surrounding yourself with inspiring people, people who challenge you, support your growth.
It's like that accountability, that support system.
It helps you stay focused and motivated no matter what.
So it really is a holistic approach to your finances, recognizing that they're not just about the numbers, it's about values, relationships, your well-being.
Exactly. And I think that's the beauty of Ramsey's message. It's not just about getting rich. It's about living a richer life.
It's about purpose, meaning, impact.
Yeah, all those things that money can't buy.
Okay, we've covered so much, from Ramsey's 5 principles to how they can impact different areas of your life, even for those who are already financially savvy. But I want to go back to what you said earlier about awareness.
Oh, yeah, that's key.
How can we become more aware of our financial habits, those patterns we might not even realize we have?
It's like we're on autopilot, right?
We are.
Spending without thinking, accumulating debt.
Yeah, missing opportunities to save.
We gotta wake up. Start paying attention, track your spending, look at your statements.
Really see where your money's going.
Ask yourself, am I happy with how I'm using my resources?
And it's like shining a light on those leaks in your financial boat.
Once you have that awareness, you can make conscious choices, start plugging those leaks, and redirect your resources toward your goals.
It's about taking control, right?
Yeah.
Being the captain of your own ship.
Exactly. And that's where Ramsey's principles come in that give you that framework, those tools to navigate this complex world of personal finance.
And create a future that feels secure, abundant, aligned with what truly matters to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so someone's been listening. They've done that self-assessment. They know where they want to make changes. What are some concrete steps they can take to actually implement these principles?
First step, get clear on your goals. What are you working towards? Paying off debt, saving for a house, retiring early.
It's like having that destination in mind.
Exactly. And then break it down, big goal into smaller steps.
Okay.
If you're tackling debt, start with that smallest debt, snowball method, remember. Saving for a down payment, automatic transfers to a dedicated account.
It's about creating a system, those habits that make success almost inevitable.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get help. You know, there are so many resources out there. Books, podcasts, financial advisors, online communities.
Ramsey himself has a whole ecosystem of stuff for us.
Oh, yeah. Financial Peace University, his radio show, books, it's all there.
There's something for everyone.
Find what works for you, surround yourself with supportive people, and remember, it's a journey, not a race.
It is. And
Yeah.
there will be bumps along the way, but it's about learning, growing, and just keeping moving forward.
Celebrate those wins along the way. Every step towards financial freedom is a victory.
So true. We've talked a lot about the practical side of things, but I think we need to acknowledge the emotional side of money, too.
Oh, absolutely. Our relationship with money is so emotional.
It can be tied to our self-worth, our security, even our freedom.
And for a lot of people, it's a source of stress, anxiety, even shame.
It can be.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that?
Self-compassion, I think, is key.
What do you mean by that?
We all make mistakes, you know? We all have financial baggage. It's okay to not be perfect.
Give yourself grace.
Yes, and be mindful of how you talk to yourself about money.
Okay.
Ditch the shoulds and musts. They just create pressure and guilt, you know?
Right.
Try using empowering language like choose and want.
So instead of saying I should be saving more, I could say I choose to save more because it aligns with my goals.
Exactly. It's a subtle shift, but it can make a big difference in how you feel.
It's about taking ownership and feeling empowered to create the future you want.
And that feeling of empowerment spills over into other areas of your life, too.
Oh, yeah, when you're in control of your finances.
You feel more confident, capable.
It's like they say, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy freedom.
And that freedom can mean peace of mind, more time to pursue your passions, the ability to make choices that align with your values.
It's about the life you want to create, the person you want to become.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole journey so exciting. It's not just about managing money. It's about designing a life you love.
And that's a journey worth taking, I think.
Oh, absolutely it is.
So we've come to the end of this deep dive, and it's amazing how much we've unpacked from just this one video about Dave Ramsey. You know,
it's incredible. It's like his story opens up all these different conversations about financial well-being, but also about life in general.
Yeah, because he's not just a financial expert. He's someone who's been there, made the mistakes, learned from them, and come out stronger.
It's inspiring, really.
He's like, hey, I messed up big time, but you don't have to. Here's how.
And it's not about shame. It's about taking ownership and creating a better future.
I love that. So as we wrap up, I want to go back to that source video. Dave Ramsey's life advice will leave you speechless. Must watch.
It's a mouthful.
It is, right. But it's full of these little nuggets of wisdom. What were some of the key takeaways that really stood out to you?
One thing that hit me was Ramsey's emphasis on those small changes, you know, how even seemingly insignificant choices can snowball over time.
It's like the butterfly effect, right?
Exactly. Those small, everyday choices, packing your lunch, saving an extra $20 a week.
They add up.
They do. It's about being mindful, realizing that every dollar you spend or save, it's a vote for the future you want.
That's a powerful way to think about it.
And another thing, he talks about having a why, you know, a strong motivation for your financial journey.
It's like if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Exactly. You got to have a destination, a vision that keeps you going when things get tough.
And it doesn't have to be just about money.
Right. It could be about providing for your family, traveling the world, making a difference in your community.
It's about aligning your financial goals with your values. What truly matters to you.
And when you do that, you unlock so much energy, so much motivation.
It's like you're tapping into a deeper wellspring of purpose.
And I think that's the core of Ramsey's message. It's not about money. It's about using money as a tool to create a life that's meaningful, purposeful.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. We've talked about a lot, but the key is action, right? Choose one thing, just one small step you can take today to start moving towards your financial goals.
Maybe create a budget, pay off a small debt, set up automatic savings, whatever feels right.
Just take that first step, see what happens.
You might be surprised by the ripple effect it creates.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
That's the question, right? Like, how do we actually put all this into practice? And I think what's great about Ramsey's approach, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
It's about taking those principles and seeing how they work for you, you know?
It's about personalization.
Yeah, exactly. And it all starts with awareness.
Right.
Really taking stock of where you're at right now, financially.
Like a financial self-audit.
Yeah, think of it that way. Where are you spending? How much debt do you have? What are your goals, both short-term and long-term?
Once you have that picture, then you can start making those conscious choices that move you in the right direction.
Exactly. So imagine someone's listening to this and they're like, whoa, this is overwhelming. They're in debt, no budget. They don't even know where to start.
It can be paralyzing, that feeling.
So for sure it can. What would you say is a good first step for them?
I think starting small is key.
Okay, I like that.
Don't try to change everything at once.
Right, baby steps.
Pick one principle that really resonates with you and just focus on that.
So, like, build some momentum.
Yeah, get a win under your belt. That can be so motivating.
It is. And then Ramsey talks about this domino effect, right? One positive action can trigger all these other positive changes.
I love that analogy.
It's so true. And it applies to so much more than just money.
Give me an example. How could getting on a budget, like we talked about, how could that impact someone's life beyond just their finances?
Well, a budget is basically a plan for your resources, right? And those resources, it's not just money.
Right, it's time, energy.
Exactly. So if you apply those same budgeting principles to how you spend your time, you might find you're more productive, less stressed, have a better work-life balance, all those things.
So it's like that intentionality spills over into other areas of your life.
Exactly. And it can create this sense of purpose that's not just about dollars and cents.
And let's not forget the impact on relationships, right? Ramsey talks about how money fights are a big deal in marriages.
Oh, yeah, they can be devastating.
If you're not on the same page financially, it can create so much tension.
Resentment, arguments, all of that.
But when you start applying these principles together, creating a budget as a couple, paying off debt as a team,
you're united.
You're working towards that shared goal.
It can actually strengthen your bond, create that sense of we're in this together.
Now, some people might be listening and thinking, okay, but I'm already pretty good with money. Is this really for me?
I get that question a lot.
Like, is this just for people who are really struggling financially?
While Ramsey's message definitely resonates with that audience, I think there are valuable takeaways for everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you're already financially stable, you can always optimize, right? Reach your goals faster and even find more meaning and purpose with your money.
That's what I love, using your money to make a difference.
Exactly. And that's where the generosity piece comes in. It's so powerful.
He talks about leaving a legacy, right? It's not just about what you have when you die, but how you live your life now.
It's about using what you have to make the world a better place.
And it's funny, they say, what goes around comes around.
It's true. Often when you give, you receive in unexpected ways.
It's this beautiful cycle.
And don't underestimate the power of good relationships, no matter how successful you are.
It's so true. Always surround yourself with people who lift you up.
People who inspire you, challenge you, support you. That's so important for growth.
So it's really a holistic approach to your finances.
Yeah.
Recognizing that it's not just about the numbers, but about your values, your relationships, your well-being.
Exactly. And that's what makes Ramsey's message so compelling. It's not just about getting rich. It's about living a richer life.
A life with purpose and meaning.
Exactly. And that's something we can all strive for, regardless of our financial situation.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. From Ramsey's 5 principles to how they can impact different areas of your life, even for those who are already financially savvy. But I want to circle back to what you said earlier about awareness.
Oh, yeah. That's crucial.
How can we become more aware of our financial habits, those unconscious patterns we might have?
It's like we're sleepwalking through our financial lives sometimes, you know?
We are. Spending without thinking, racking up debt, missing those opportunities to save.
It's time to wake up. Look at your statements, track your spending, really see where your money's going.
Shine a light on those little leaks in your financial boat.
Exactly. Once you have that awareness, you can start making different choices.
Start plugging those leaks, redirecting your resources toward your goals.
It's about taking control, right? Becoming the captain of your own financial ship.
Exactly. And that's where Ramsey's principles can be so helpful. They give you that framework, those tools to navigate this complex world of money.
And create a future that feels secure, abundant, and aligned with your values.
I love that. Okay, so let's say someone's been listening. They've done that self-assessment. They've identified some areas where they want to make changes. What are some concrete steps they can take to start putting these principles into practice?
Well, first things first, you got to have goals, right? What are you working towards? Paying off debt, saving for a house, retiring early.
It's like having a destination in mind before you start your journey.
Exactly. And then break it down, big goal, into smaller, more manageable steps.
Bite-sized pieces.
Yeah. So if it's debt, Tackle that smallest step first with the snowball method,
Okay.
saving for a down payment, set up those automatic transfers to a dedicated savings account.
Create that system, those good habits that make success almost inevitable.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There are so many resources out there, books, podcasts, financial advisors.
Even online communities, support groups.
Oh, yeah, find your tribe, people who are on the same journey.
Ramsey's got a whole ecosystem of resources too, right?
Oh, yeah, his Financial Peace University, his radio show, books, all of that.
There's something for everyone.
The key is to find what works for you, get support, and remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It's a journey, for sure. And there will be ups and downs along the way.
Oh, yeah, but you just keep learning, keep growing, keep moving forward.
And celebrate those wins. Every step towards financial freedom is a victory.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about the practical side of things, but let's not forget the emotional side of money.
That's so important.
Our relationship with money is complex. It can be tied to our self-worth, our security, our freedom.
And for many people, it's a source of stress, anxiety, even shame.
So much baggage, right. And that's why self-compassion is so important.
What do you mean by that?
It's about recognizing that we're all human, we all make mistakes, we all have financial baggage. It's okay to not be perfect.
Give yourself a break.
Exactly. And be mindful of the language you use around money.
Okay.
Ditch those shoulds and musts. They just create pressure.
They do.
Try more empowering language like choose and want.
So instead of saying, I should be saving more, I could say, I choose to save more because it aligns with my goals.
There you go. It's a subtle shift, but it can make a big difference in how you feel.
It's about taking ownership and feeling empowered to create the future you want.
And that feeling of empowerment, it can spill over into other areas of your life, too.
Oh, yeah. When you feel in control of your finances, you feel more confident in general.
More capable, more free.
It's like they say, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy freedom.
And that freedom can mean peace of mind, more time for your passions, the ability to make choices that align with your values.
It's not just about the numbers, it's about the life you want to live.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this whole journey so exciting. It's not just about managing money, it's about designing a life you love.
And that's a journey worth taking.
Oh, for sure.
Wow, it's amazing how much we've unpacked just from, this one video about Dave Ramsey.
It is, right. There's just something about his story that, it just opens up all these different conversations, not just about finances, but like life in general.
It's like his life is this case study in both success and failure and what we can learn from both.
Yeah, he's not just some talking head, right? He's lived it, he's made the mistakes, and he's come out the other side with this message of hope, this roadmap for others.
He's like, hey, I messed up, but you don't have to.
Exactly. And it's so refreshing because it's not about judgment. It's about, taking responsibility, making those changes, and creating a better future.
So I want to circle back to the video itself. Dave Ramsey's life advice will leave you speechless. Must watch. What were some of those, aha moments, those key takeaways that really stood out to you?
One thing that really hit me was how much he emphasizes those small changes, like the little things we do every day.
They can make a big difference.
They really can. It's like that butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
One tiny flap of the wings.
Can cause a hurricane.
Exactly. And it's the same with our money choices, packing your lunch, saving an extra $20 a week.
It all adds up.
It does. It's about being mindful, realizing that every dollar you spend, every dollar you save, it's like a vote for the future you want.
That's a great way to put it. He also talks a lot about having a why, right? Like a strong motivation for your financial journey.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial. If you don't know where you're going,
any road will get you there.
Exactly. You need that destination in mind, that vision to keep you going when things get tough, because they will get tough.
And that why, it doesn't have to be just about money.
Yes,
right?
not at all.
It could be about wanting to provide for your family.
Traveling the world, giving back to your community.
It's about connecting your financial goals to those deeper values, what truly matters to you.
And when you do that, it's amazing how much energy it unlocks, how much more motivated you become.
It's like you've tapped into this wellspring of purpose.
And that's really what I think Dave Ramsey is all about. It's not just about money. It's about using money as a tool to create a life that's meaningful, impactful.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave everyone with a challenge. Take action, Choose one thing, just one small step you can take today to start moving towards those financial goals.
Maybe it's creating a budget, maybe it's paying off a small debt, maybe it's setting up an automatic savings plan.
Whatever it is, just take that first step and see what happens.
You might be amazed by the ripple effect it creates in your life.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.